Hey, political pundits. Today, I'll be predicting the 2024 election. For context, over the past few months, Trump has been leading the polls, but we must take a deeper dive into the polls of each state in order to better understand who will win this election. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel to help us overtake Senator Joe Manchin in subscribers. Now, let's begin. We're first going to start with the states that will solidly go to Biden. These include Washington, Oregon, California, Hawaii, Colorado, New Mexico, Illinois, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Delaware, D.C., Maryland, and Maine's 1st District. Already, Biden is at 196 electoral votes, 74 away from the 270 required to win the election. However, Trump has some states in his pocket as well. In fact, the states that will certainly go to Trump are Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Utah, Alaska, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska's 3rd District, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, West Virginia, South Carolina, Nebraska at large, and Nebraska's 1st District. Now, Trump is 99 electoral votes away from the magic number, making him at an immediate disadvantage. As you'll see, though, he will almost instantly close this disadvantage and soon will overtake Biden. We will start this journey with the state of Florida, as it is the largest state left in terms of electoral votes, wielding a total of 30. As you can see through this recent poll by YouGov, sponsored by CBS News, Trump is up by double digits in Florida when RFK Jr. is included and is still up by +9 when RFK Jr. is not. One thing to note is that RFK Jr. is a factor in this election, and he was not back in 2020 when Trump and Biden first faced off. But anyways, enough with that side tangent. Now that Trump has the state of Florida in his column, he's already overtaken Biden in electoral votes, putting him 69 away from victory. On the other hand, Biden has some states up his sleeve too, with one being New Hampshire. Although New Hampshire is in the heavily liberal Northeast, it is still a swing state in this election, having gone to Clinton back in 2016 by less than a percentage point. Recent polls do not have Trump that close, with him losing to Biden by about 3 points, according to Marist College. This puts Biden at 200 electoral votes, one behind Donald Trump. Next, we have the state of Minnesota, which is part of the failed quote-unquote blue wall that Clinton tried to put up but failed back in 2016. Minnesota has the longest active streak of voting for the Democratic Party out of any state, and this election is no exception. Biden currently holds a 2-point lead in the Gopher state, though this is closer than the 7-point lead he held back in 2020. After Minnesota, Biden is up by 9 electoral votes. This may be disappointing news for Biden supporters, but this will likely be the largest lead that he holds during this entire video. This is explained by the state of Ohio, who has 17 electoral votes. Here, Trump is up by double digits in almost every poll. This can be explained by dissatisfaction with Biden, the train derailment that occurred during the Biden administration, as well as a general trend towards the Republican Party in the Buckeye State. Regardless, Trump is now in the lead by 8 electoral votes. There's been a state that has experienced similar trend towards the Republican Party, voting for Trump by over a percentage point back in 2020, being the state of North Carolina. Despite unpopular gubernatorial candidate Mark Robinson, Trump is heavily favored in the Tar Heel state, being up by 5 in a poll sponsored by the Carolina Journal, putting him up by 24 electoral votes. Now, you may be wondering why RFK Jr. is included despite having 0 electoral votes so far. Well, his supporters argue that he stands a small chance in at least one state, being the state of Maine. They tend to cite the 1992 presidential election to substantiate their point, where third-party candidate Ross Perot garnered 30% of the vote, placing second behind Bill Clinton. There have not been too many polls including RFK Jr. in Maine, so we'll go by one that excludes him. This poll from Pan Atlantic Research puts Trump up by 20 in Maine's 2nd congressional district and +6 in Maine's at-large election. I do think this poll should be taken with a grain of salt, as Biden pretty easily secured Maine back in 2020, beating Trump by about 9 points, and this poll does not include RFK Jr. Regardless, Trump takes another 3 electoral votes, inching him closer to 270. Now we have the state of Virginia, which recently elected Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin. However, Biden is favored, winning by 3 percentage points in a poll that was sponsored by Donald Trump. After the state of Virginia, Biden is down by 14, which is significant but not insurmountable. We next go to the state of Nevada, where Trump seeks to extend his lead. In a recent New York Times poll, Trump leads by double digits, with Kennedy polling at a sizable 11%. As such, the 6 electoral votes go to Trump, which is unsurprising given Nevada has been more favorable towards Republicans as of late, particularly with its close Senate elections and pro Republican 2022 gubernatorial election. This next state is particularly interesting, being seen as the kingmaker by many. Biden was born in this state, and it is where his son, Beau, went to college. This is the state of Pennsylvania, wielding 19 electoral votes and the ability to bring Biden back in the race. Pennsylvania went to Biden back in 2020 by less than 2 percentage points. Despite this, Trump is leading by 4 in 2024 polling, which puts him at a seismic lead over Biden. Even still, he's at 262 electoral votes, 8 shy of 270. Trump has to win just one of the 4 remaining states in order to win the election, and knowing him, he will probably try to win all 4. The state of Michigan stands in his way of achieving this goal, supporting Biden by about a net of 3 percentage points in the recent New York Times poll. Michigan has a sizable Muslim population and Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, leading to them criticizing Biden's stance on Israel. However, Biden still maintains a lead over Trump, likely because as much as they detest Biden, they detest Trump more. This is not the same with the state of Wisconsin, as Trump shatters the blue wall, being up by 1 point over Biden. With that, he surpasses 270 electoral votes, thereby winning the 2024 presidential election. Let's still see how large his lead will be, starting with Arizona. Trump leads by 4 in Arizona, a state that was formerly safely Republican, going to McCain in 2008 by almost 10 points, but has recently trended towards the Democrats. Lastly, we have the state of Georgia rounding out the South. Similar to the rest of the South, it trends towards the Republican Party, going to Trump by 8. Also, we have Nebraska's 2nd congressional district, which goes to Trump, but there's been minimal polling on the subject. Here we have it. Trump wins 300 to 238 over the incumbent Joe Biden, according to recent polls. Thank you to our newest channel member, The Noobiest Noob, and I hope you enjoyed.